We are live at Packers training camp with a guy who loves cheese and corn, senior NFL writer Pete Prisco. After baking in the sun in Miami on Friday, temperatures in the low 80s today must be a welcome relief for Pete, and he joins us now here on CBS Sports HQ. Pete, you just heard the piece there, the Jordan Love era about to begin in Green Bay, and really, we don't really know what to expect from Jordan Love at this point, but tell us about the vibe there at Packers camp in the short time that you've been there in regards to their new quarterback.
First things first, I think I need a parka. It's a little chilly for me. You know how that goes, Jeremy. Look, the bottom line on this Jordan Love stuff is nobody knows. Nobody's seen him play. I mean, think about it. He played barely at all last year. You saw him one start against Kansas City when they blitzed the heck out of him a couple years ago. So all the people out there evaluating him for what he can do and what he's possibly going to be for this team, they have no idea. I have no idea. You can watch practice, you can see what he does, but guys in practice, they work on stuff. You might get picked off on a ball you wouldn't throw in a game because you're working on something. So I think the evaluation process is going to play out throughout this entire season for him. Until then, nobody has any idea. Did I love the pick when he came out? I'll be honest with you, I did not. But again, to make an evaluation of him based on what he's doing in practice, based on what we've seen so far, it's unfair to Jordan Love.
Well, and his general manager last week, I mean, they've only been through a week of practice, but general manager Brian Gutekunst was asked about him last week and said, look, we may not know what we have here until midseason because of the fact that this is going to be an adjustment period. And it's not just the adjustment to Love, but Pete, also this wide receiver core. There's a lot of questions, not just about Love, but about them. So what are your expectations for that unit as they really don't just adjust to Love, they adjust to each other?
Well, they're a young group. I mean, you look at that wide receiver group, you have two second-year players probably in the rotation starting, and a third-year player as the third quarter, and a rookie tight end in Luke Musgrave, who's had a really good training camp so far. So it's going to be a growing process for all of them together. It's not a bad situation. Remember, a year ago, all the Aaron Rodgers talk, he wasn't around. He didn't work with those young receivers. He wasn't here for OTAs. He wasn't here spending time with them like he is in New York with the Jets. So I think this is a good situation. Jordan Love took a lot of reps with those guys last year, in large part because Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. So it's a young group. They're going to grow together, and I'm excited to see what they can do because Christian Watson flashed big-time ability last year, and Romeo Doubs came on at the end of last season.
Yeah, as you say, it's going to be a group that's going to grow together along with their quarterback. Well, if there is one area that's consistent, certainly in terms of the offense, it's his backfield with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So when you look at those two now veteran influences on this offense, certainly going to help Love along here. How much do you think this offense is going to have to rely on those two?
Well, you're going to rely on your run game. And remember, they had problems and injuries on the offensive line a year ago. If they're healthy up front, that's a good group. And that means David Bakhtiari at left tackle, Elgin Jenkins at left guard. That would be one of the best left sides of any line in the NFL if they're healthy. So I think if those guys are healthy, they will try and run the ball to take the pressure off Jordan Love. Look, it's a good running situation. It's a good running back group. Aaron Jones does what he does, and A.J. Dillon is the pounder. So, yeah, take the pressure off the quarterback, run the football, but the offensive line has to stay healthy.
Yeah, Jones had just over 1,100 yards last year. Dillon had over 700, so a nice combination, a nice 1-2 punch for those two there as they look to be big parts of this offense in 2023. So the offense, according to the reports anyways, was struggling against this defense in competitive reps last week, but perhaps that's not surprising, Pete, because his defense is mostly intact. What are the main question marks on that defensive unit for you?
Well, I think it's going to be pass rush, but Rashawn Gary coming off the injured list today, he's going to be taking part. He's going to be limited, but he's coming off an injury, and that's an important part of their defense. A guy can rush the passer. When you have him, Preston Smith, you add Van Ness, the rookie first-round pick, and I think a big part of this defense will be the growth of two second-year players, Quay Walker, the linebacker, Devontae Wyatt, the defensive tackle. If those guys take the next step, this is going to be a good defense provided Gary can come back and provide the type of pass rush that he's done in the past. This could be a good defense. They're going to have to carry the team early, and I think I go back to what you said earlier about running the ball, taking the pressure off of Jordan Love, playing good defense early in the season until he becomes acclimated with what he wants to do in the passing game.
And a great point there about the defense having to kind of carry things for the first little while as this offense gets into a rhythm with each other, right? Pete, odds makers have the Pack finishing third in the NFC North the first year post Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that that's a safe bet at this point, or do you think this team, once they gel, could actually surprise?
I think they have a chance to push for the division title again. I know that sounds crazy because Aaron Rodgers isn't here, but let's slow the roll on the Lions. The Lions have to learn how to win games. Have they learned how to win big games yet? No. Have they learned how to win any playoff games yet? No. So we got to slow the roll of the Lions. The Vikings are going to be talented again, but who knows? They won a lot of close games last year. If this defense and run game can carry this team early, and that's going to be key, and then let Love become acclimated to playing in the system, I think they have a chance to even push for the division title.
Well, and the Lions right now are the odds-on favorite to win this division. The Packers win total set at 7.5. They play the Chicago Bears in Week 1, where they are currently 2.5-point dogs. Our Pete Prisco in Wisconsin at Packers camp for us today. Great to see you, Pete. And of course, the Pick Six podcast has all you want to know as we lead into the heavy week of the preseason, the first heavy week of the preseason. The latest episode is Katie Mox and Will Brinson and prop stars Alex Selesnik getting you and your bankroll ready for a season of winning wagers. Download and follow wherever you get your podcasts or scan that QR code to listen right now.